over all the cocaine
or
real life.
Oh. Yeah, what a way to start. I thought there was going to be a countdown from this, but
William had a countdown earlier. I don't know.
Yeah, no countdown. All right, I guess we're live. Welcome to Rise and Grind in the Near ecosystem. This is going to be a great show. We're going to get comfortable with bringing people on, kind of just doing a freestyle structure, talking about everything going on in the Near ecosystem, taking chats from the crowd, building kind of a megaphone between what's happening in the ecosystem and what's happening on the outside that people want to hear about. So basically the way we're structuring this, it's going to be a daily show after NearCon. So like this is kind of the build up test round before we get to NearCon. And what we're going to do is we're going to do 5 to 10 minutes of news about what's going on in the ecosystem, what you should pay attention to. Then we're going to do a product dive for like 10 to 20 minutes. Today, we're going to be diving into Tri-Solaris and the decks they're building on Aurora. And then we have a sub show with some form of either like gaming or working in crypto, question answer, opinions on things in the ecosystem. We're going to have a VC sub show with some of the ecosystem VCs. And I think it's a good place kind of to start a conversation about Near and the underlying value proposition of crypto. So with me, we'll have a number of co-hosts, primarily Ants Guild team members. So with me, I have Rim. If you want to say hi to everybody, Rim.
Hi, everyone.
You guys know Rim from the Degens. So yeah, we're just gonna kick off Rise and Grind day one. Let's start by kind of like zooming in news in the Near ecosystem that people should be aware of. So kind of big picture, if you don't know, NearCon is next week. It starts on Monday. There's going to be live interviews streamed from like some of the most important people at NearCon. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, you're going to have a bunch of talks from the most important people in the ecosystem, the most important products in the ecosystem with, from what I've heard, some pretty good alpha. Rim, anything on that front for NearCon to kind of people should know or what they should pay attention to?
Yeah, the live events obviously will be pretty exciting, having 2 stages, bunch of panels, workshops going on widely from, all of our ecosystem partners to our backers, but also community members. But I think even more exciting is the fact that parallelly there'll be a metaverse. The Nearverse NearCon is also going to happen. So if you go to nearcon.org and you register, even if you're not in Lisbon physically, you can stream along, catch everything that's happening in the metaverse. And so that will be pretty fun as well.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. So beyond NearCon, inside the Near ecosystem, the whole reason why we're doing this show is because no one can keep track of everything going on, right? So like, I think Nate Geyer had a tweet the other week about how Mintbase is getting a credit card integration with it. Aurora just closed it was over $10 million in fundraise. Yeah. Octopus launched with app chains. There's like a bunch of app chains there. And then it seems like every day another DApp is, launching and something, new is coming to the ecosystem. So kind of zooming in, we want to do a little bit of focus on Aurora today. Do you kind of, Rim, want to walk through some of the most recent updates about Aurora so people from the outside should kind of just can help get familiar with it?
Yeah, definitely. And you're so right. I think, I've been trying to make a list every week of all of the important announcements. I live on Twitter, so I'm keeping up with every partnership announcement and whatnot. And this is the first time in the months that I've been doing it that I actually cannot keep up with everything that's going on. I keep missing something. And I can't, I hit the word limit on all of my Telegram messages when I try to fill out the entire list. So I think focusing on Aurora today will be good just because there have been so many developments and so quickly. In the past few weeks, the first most important thing was that the Aurora DAO launched, backed by huge names, Pantera Capital, Electric Capital, Dragonfly, OKX, Dodo, Near themselves, obviously. So the DAO just launched, which is very exciting. And it was immediately followed up by their bullish fundraising news, as you mentioned. Aurora raised $12 million in total. So that kind of means it just brings us to the question that everyone has been asking since the inception of Aurora, which is, when Aurora, the token, And I think there are hints at it. The token was just minted. And I think we're getting somewhere. Maybe we'll see an IDO, maybe we'll see an airdrop, who knows? But it's a very exciting time with the DAO and the token news and the fundraising news.
Yep. So as you said, Aurora raises 12 million. Here's the tweet on it. I actually know a lot of people who are building on Aurora, going through kind of other things happening on the Aurora side. I mean, if you want to, I'm sharing screen so people can kind of see just the quick things that we've kind of thrown together on this front. But do you want to talk a little bit about Chronicle NFTs, the Explorers and beta? I mean, there's just a whole host of things getting ready for takeoff, which if, you know, your experience in crypto is anything, it means that we're probably about a good month or two away from like some serious products launching, some serious value being added to the platform. Any other comments on that front, Rim?
I have been pushing along with all of the DJs and the community members. Nearvember is the hashtag. Like all of these news building up in October is just leading up to a blow up for Near in November. So it'll be Nearvember for sure. So on the dApps line, I think some of the most notable names for Aura were PowerPool. So that's pooled DeFi investment tokens, Chronicle XNL NFT marketplace. Allbridge is going to integrate with Near and Aurora, bridging from Near to Aura to Ethereum. And then Ariadne Finance, sorry if I got the name wrong, has also just recently got a grant from Aurora. That's a DeFi marketplace focusing on farming. Antimatter is doing perpetuals, and that's also integrating with Aurora. So, and then I think on top of Trisolaris being the first ever DEX, and I think one of the first dApps on Aurora, WannaSwap also just went live doing open beta, which is another DEX. I think that's a sushi fork, by the way. So there's a whole host of dApps I think coming on, and once Aurora Explorer kind of goes fully live, it's on beta right now, and Etherscan integration is obviously coming, which is very exciting. So once those indexer fronts move a little bit more, we will see even more movements on the partnership apps front.
And I think just to kind of deconstruct, if you don't know all of the things that were just said about all the things that are being built on Aurora, the big picture is Aurora is basically a ETH mirror on Near. So it's the same user experience as using Ethereum, but it runs on Near with the cost of Near, the speed of Near. And it's just launching. It was built after the Rainbow Bridge launched. It took 6 to 7 months to really go through the product development, the fundraise. Really solid team. They're in Dubai right now, and now it's the blossoming of this pretty important component of the Near ecosystem, also pretty important component of the Ethereum ecosystem, with where Ethereum projects are looking to roll ups. So that's the context. And with that, I think we can start having a nice introduction overview about Trisolaris, because so basically the Trisolaris team, they're going to hop on here in about 5 or 6, 7 minutes. But before they hop on and we ask some questions and you guys can ask some questions, we want to start by just doing a little bit of an overview. What is the product? How does it work? Why does it matter? Where does this fit in the current context of the development of DeFi and the crypto space and so forth? So do you want to start, Rim, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I also just want to add on the Aurora front that I think in terms of the larger landscape of Ethereum scaling solutions, rollups, L2s, it's really bullish in terms of momentum for Aura, because I think while we have all of these rollups that are that we're kind of promising what Aura is going to do now, we haven't really seen it actually realize on that front, that maybe they are a little bit later than they were making it seem like it was going to be. So I think the timing wise, that Aurora as an EVM, very interesting and smart architecture, being an EVM as a smart contract on Near, that it's able to show that it's going to fully launch, actually have dApps, actually become its own ecosystem, is super exciting. And I think the timing is just really right, that Aurora is getting started, Near native DeFi is getting started, Octopus is started. All of these things I think are going to come together really nicely.
Engines revving. Yeah, engines
Absolutely.
revving. And so after we do this dive into Trisolaris, we're going to talk gaming on Near. Cronier's going to hop on, and we're going to get into that. So with that, let's make this kind of jump into what is Trisolaris doing on Aurora. What is their intention in the long haul, and kind of where are they coming from? So I have their announcement blog. This kind of came out. I think, there was a LollySwap a while back. No one really knows what happened to LollySwap. They seemed like a great team. Might have been a little too early. Now we have Trisolaris, and they seem to be pretty ambitious and pretty capable to the point. This is what they basically write. So it's the first DEX on Aurora, enabling a seamless trading experience similar to native Ethereum for a fraction of the cost, taking advantage of the great underlying architecture provided by the Aurora engine. Now, this is where I think things get interesting for understanding the team behind Trisolaris, and kind of what their vision is, because they're really intentional about saying they're focusing on what they know best, which is DeFi and nothing else. And so here is a list of the problems. And Rim, I'm interested to see what you make of this, but DeFi is so young with many problems to solve, such as capital efficiency, on-chain order books, limit orders, proper liquidity incentives, and derivatives. We've made it our mission to solve problems in this space. What is your thoughts on that angle of just doing DeFi really well on Aurora?
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. I remember reading this and then sending it to our group chat saying, I love these guys. Like, I don't know anything about them. They're also an add-on team. I don't know anything about them, but I know they're going to be solid because they have the right mindset. And this is not to belittle anyone else doing, expanding their horizontal horizon on what DeFi can be, integrating with NFTs and whatnot. That's super interesting. And I think that's going to be something to look forward to. But also that means as we expand, people need to focus on the fundamentals as well, which is DeFi, just doing DeFi really well and sticking to it. So I'm really happy that the first DEX and first almost dApp on Aurora are people who have this philosophy.
I agree completely. And I think, people are talking about DeFi 2.0, CeFi to DeFi. Where does DeFi go next after the initial, kind of pump that brought it mainstream and re-jump started the whole crypto space? I think this approach is really clever, because launching on Aurora basically means that they have a first mover advantage on, a product where the fees are going to be paid in ETH. It's going to run on Near, so it's going to be super cheap and super scalable, but it's going to accommodate and apply to an Ethereum audience. I don't know, Rim, if you want to share your screen and kind of walk through what it actually looks like to trade on Trisolaris. I was actually pretty pleased looking at it. They have direct MetaMask integration. They have a Coinbase wallet integration. It has a very clean interface. It's really smooth, actually, overall. Yeah. So you want to just kind of walk through what this is looking like? Oh, you're connected already, I think.
Yeah, I'm connected. So, this is my MetaMask wallet. It looks and feels just like any Ethereum app. The only difference is that you'll be connecting your MetaMask wallet to the Aurora network, right? So what I did a little bit earlier is I wanted to bridge some of my ETH from Ethereum to Aurora so that I could start using Trisolaris. So this is the Aurora Bridge website. And I won't make the new transfer right now, but if you click new transfer, you can say deposit to Aurora, use your MetaMask wallet, connect to it. Sorry.
And then you select the amount to transfer, complete the transfer, and confirm it. Yeah, and you can choose the token even. Yeah, yes. This is. I think this is a great starting point. I think a lot of people have been asking for a long time. What are we? What is Aurora actually building? What does Aurora actually have on it? This is, it's in beta. I don't know. Is it live now? Do you know if it's live now?
Yeah, it's mainnet.
Okay. So it's mainnet. It's young though. It's early on. And that's what we're going to actually be talking to them about, is kind of their plans going forward. But here we go. First DEX on Aurora, first move into this kind of integrated new DeFi ecosystem that's launching. This is the beginning. This is just the beginning of the whole ecosystem growth. I think it's going to be really cool. So go ahead.
On top of, like, because we're talking about Aurora Bridge, I just want to give props to the team. I don't know if you tried out Arbitrum while it was when it first went live, and I saw the Arbitrum Bridge, and that this has nothing to do with the usability or how good the Arbitrum Bridge is, but it just looked. People on Twitter were saying it kind of looked like a scam page because the UI was just not there, and I'm really happy. I want to give props to the Aurora team that they made it look beautiful. It works seamlessly, and I tried it out earlier. It took just a minute to transfer from Ethereum to Near, and it cost me about $7 in gas. Right, that's so doable compared to what Ethereum can do in terms of gas fees.
Okay, so I just want to do a quick run through of the roadmap of Trisolaris before they hop on and chat with us a little bit. So on that Medium blog that we were going through, their phase 1 is just revamped DEX with a simple and intuitive UI, high-speed trading, negligible fees, ability to provide liquidity, and swap any ERC20 token, and then liquidity mining incentives. More on this soon. So for the sharks, for the minnows, sharks, and whales out there, this is probably something you're going to want to pay attention to on your radar in the next month or two, because there probably will be sizable liquidity mining incentives, and the positioning of Trisolaris at the intersection of Ethereum and Near probably means that the liquidity that moves on is going to stay and benefit from the Ethereum experience at really low fees. So anything to add on to that roadmap, Rim?
I guess just placing it in context, like we mentioned earlier that NearCon is coming up end of this month, and we were jokingly saying Nearvember is the hashtag, but we don't mean it lightly, right? Wink, wink, when we say that these, Trisolaris is in a really good position. All of these Aurora dApps are coming along. Look out for some news end of the month coinciding around NearCon, because I think if you're a whale, even if you're not a whale, there will be something very juicy for you at the end of the month down the road. Yep.
Great segue. And with that, I think we have one of the core founders of Trisolaris here with us, 0x Don. How's it going? Welcome to the show.
Hi. Great to be here. Thanks for having us.
Thanks so much for hopping on.
Yeah, I think the whole Near ecosystem, and probably a large portion of the Ethereum ecosystem, is really excited to have this project, go live and kind of be the first mover on Aurora. Maybe if you want to start, just do a little introduction about who you guys are, who your team is. Have you been in the crypto space for a while, and where was the original interest in doing something like this?
Yeah, definitely. So currently, Trisolaris, our team is 3 of us, and we're actually globally distributed across the world. Of course, we're choosing to be anonymous at this point in time, but we have worked in crypto for several years in different projects, and then also have worked together on a previous crypto project before. So very familiar with the space, and especially with the DeFi side of things. We're all passionate about different areas of DeFi and across the full stack, all the way from 3D mining to farming to the UIs and user experience, and then to tokens and different ways of token mechanics. So yeah, that's a bit about us.
Cool. On the topic of choosing to build on Aurora, how did that go down? So, there's a lot of chains out there. There's probably a lot of incentives to build on different chains. Did you guys find Aurora first, or did the Aurora team reach out to you guys? Kind of what went into the decision-making to launch on Aurora among other platforms?
Yeah, so one of the things that we were really looking for was an opportunity to set the stage for a new ecosystem. A lot of other ecosystems have pre-existing DEXs. We didn't exactly want to solve the same problem twice. The opportunity we saw with Aurora was it's a new ecosystem, and additionally, it opens up a whole new level of usage for the Near blockchain. We're all active Near community members as well, and we love the community. So with the EVM experience, which is so familiar to users, that was where we saw a pretty huge opportunity to onboard a lot more users to Aurora. So that was what really drew us.
Rim, any thoughts and questions kind of about the anything else relating to Trisolaris?
I'm just because you're an Anon team. I didn't realize you guys were also quite active near community members. Now I feel such an affinity towards you guys. We must have passed by in Telegram groups or whatnot.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a bit of a tight rope, right? Trying to be anon in this space, but I think it's for the better for now. Of course, we love the community, and we've seen the enthusiasm already from the community in our Discord. There's been a lot of early adopters who are eager to try it out. So super excited.
On the topic of, we were talking before a little bit about the fact that you guys are really focusing on trying to do DeFi the right way. You're not so much interested in, stretching yourself too thin horizontally and doing a lot of different things. Kind of, if you could expand a little bit upon the roadmap of the Trisolaris team from where we are now to where you're hoping to go, what do the next couple months look like for you guys in building out this product?
Yeah, so of course, the first product right now is the Trisolaris DEX, which is on Aurora. It's live right now. Of course, it's very thin liquidity at the moment. We are just bootstrapping it up at the moment. So immediate roadmap is to launch the Tri token and have some initial liquidity mining rewards started. You may have seen this before as well, but we also received a grant from the Near Foundation. So that, along with some other rewards, we're hoping to integrate into this liquidity mining scheme. And then shortly thereafter, we really want to improve on the DEX experience overall. Currently, of course, Aurora has zero to very little fees for operating on the chain, but we want to grow with the Aurora ecosystem and help both in, for example, bridging efforts to have more users and more tokens bridged onto Aurora from both Near and from Ethereum. And then also try to expand the ecosystem more, grow along with the ecosystem, and try to really onboard as many users as possible. So this involves other financial products as well as the DEX. But of course, as you guys know, doing DeFi for a while, DEX is probably the core product that needs to exist on any layer in order for users to initially start onboarding. So that's what we started with.
Maybe adding to that point, you are explicit about being, one of the first people to be in this emerging ecosystem, setting the tone, setting the stage. What would you say as Trisolaris, your maybe differentiating point, or, how do you position yourselves vis-a-vis the future other DEXs that will come on Aurora?
Yeah, so some of the key, I think, differentiators for us is, we've seen a lot of the different DEXs ourselves. We've been active participants, governance participants for many of the different DEXs on different chains, and so we've seen what's been working and what's not been working. So really taking those learning experiences to heart in designing the future of this exchange. And the other key differentiators, we're pretty ingrained with the Near community, as I mentioned earlier. So we're really trying to prioritize the community and the native Near tokens as much as possible, including staked Near. That's a token that doesn't have as much liquidity as needs to have as we speak today. So really trying to integrate more. So I think that's the key distinguishing factor between us, and we're kind of Near first. So as opposed to another DEX, which is migrating onto Aurora to just be on as many chains as possible, because we're starting with Near, we can kind of prioritize the Near roadmap as well as the Aurora roadmap and really integrate deeply.
That's really good. I think just wanted to add really quickly, I think that's a question that a lot of Near users and token holders have been having, which is that because Near offers so many different environments, Near native, Aurora, and Octopus, they've been asking, so there's refinance on Near, and then there's going to be some other DEXs on Aurora. What's their relationship going to be? What's the relationship between Aurora and Near in general? Is Aurora being, exploding? Is that good for Near? So I think it's really nice, at least from your perspective, that you are really keen on bringing Near ecosystem and the Aurora ecosystem together, and not just focusing on one over the other.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I think that's the key. I mean, in case people don't know in the community, the Aurora EVM actually executes transactions on the Near blockchain eventually via the relayer. So everything does eventually settle on the Near blockchain. So we're all building on the shoulders of giants, right? So if we
Exactly.
can capitalize on that with a great user experience, even better, right? To onboard more users.
Yeah, sounds great. So there's a lot of questions from the community. Before we get into the community questions, maybe just real quickly, is there any plan on launching a token for Trisolaris and airdrop? I think that's going to be a lot of the questions. What does that look like? And then also, you mentioned that you guys got a grant from the Near Foundation. For other people from the outside watching, maybe with their own project, maybe with their own product, is there any tips for that process of getting a grant from the Near Foundation to build on either Aurora or Near?
Yeah, definitely. Great questions. So to confirm, there will be a token for the Trisolaris ecosystem. It'll be called Tri, and so we'll release more details around the distribution and the incentives shortly within the next couple of weeks. We're just fine tuning the final elements right now. And in regards to the Near grant, it was actually made pretty easy with just the online process, and it's very, very accessible to everyone really who's interested in building. So just wouldn't be intimidated. Just follow the regular online guidelines, and the Near team and community are super welcoming. So I think that's another key, just being able to reach out to folks and talk to them. So that's amazing.
Cool. Well, let's go through some of these questions. I don't know if we can put these up on the screen, but some of them are pretty simple. Will Trisolaris have a Telegram? Do you guys have oh, here we go. Yeah, Dixit Rao. What we can expect in the Trisolaris roadmap? I think you already touched upon that a little bit with more advanced products. Let's see. Yeah, let's go through and see. What other ERC20 tokens can we see in the future on Trisolaris? Is there any listing plan or anything like that you guys have in place? Are you talking to any people on the Ethereum side? What's that look like?
Yeah, so in terms of the initial question, so other ERC20 tokens we can hope to see in the future. We're trying to grow with Aurora, so we're in active conversation with the Aurora team as much as possible. As you guys know, the main bridge into Aurora is the Aurora EVM bridge, which has a select group of ERC20 tokens today. And so we are starting with a subset of those tokens, but it will eventually expand to all of the tokens supported by Aurora. And then eventually we are also close with many of the projects in the DeFi ecosystem on Ethereum mainnet, right? So we will definitely try to integrate as much as possible to bring as much liquidity and users on Near and on Aurora as possible in the future. So in terms of like staging it, the subset we have today, and then within the next few weeks, all of the tokens on Aurora, and then expanding from there on up. So that's from our side, but of course it is a decentralized exchange, so anyone can add any tokens if you really want to. It's a free world. So
super cool.
Yeah.
So a couple other questions. Is there any mechanism to prevent impermanent loss for the liquidity providers on Trisolaris?
So at current there isn't. It's part of the design of AMM. We are still building on the shoulders of giants there. But we do have some plans with the incentive program to try to mitigate impermanent loss as much as possible, especially with the ratios of how we do liquidity mining for these pools. And there's some other, interesting things down the pipe, but we'll give more details shortly. Yep.
And then you guys, I don't know exactly when it came to be built, but someone's asking, is it a fork of SushiSwap? Did you guys fork an existing thing from Ethereum? Did you build it from the ground up? Did you take inspiration from an existing product on Ethereum or somewhere else?
Yeah, so for the DEX product, we definitely took a lot of inspiration from SushiSwap, actually a combination of 3 different DEXs, or 4 actually. SushiSwap, a Pangolin on Avalanche, and Uniswap, of course, and then also QuickSwap. So different dexes. We tried to take the best of each of the dexes and learn and try to build on top of it. And then the other thing is, of course, integrating with Aurora. It's a new blockchain with a block explorer that's a few days old, and the data. We're still trying to integrate all of the data elements, making sure the data flows through the UI so we can display users' liquidity positions and stats and growth over time. So we're actively working with the team to make that happen.
Awesome. Rim, did you have a question about the name that they picked?
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask early on why you guys chose the name Trisolaris. And am I pronouncing it correctly?
Yes, definitely pronouncing correctly. Thanks, Rim. So Trisolaris is actually a reference to one of our favorite books. It's called The Three-Body Problem. It's a science fiction classic. And the other reference is, of course, it's three of us currently. We're all actively working on it together. And the other thing is to future financial products. It was a goal of ours to have a financial foundation set up on Near. So part of it is, of course, a DEX, but additional future products include, for example, lending and borrowing and having some sort of stable means of value. So these are all things we've been thinking about. So all referenced by the name.
Now, maybe this might take us a little bit beyond just the nature of Trisolaris as a DEX, but could you talk a little bit about how Near native products are able to communicate with Aurora? So, for example, like I don't know if you guys have touched upon this at all. You obviously have integrations on the site for someone with a Near wallet. How difficult is it, for example, for I think like a product like Metapool, that's on Near native, I believe. How hard is it for something like that to connect to Trisolaris somewhere in the future?
Yeah, so we will definitely try our best to try to integrate both on an ecosystem level, but also on a per app level. Right now, the railings is still being built in terms of the connectivity. As you know, even the Near to Aurora bridge isn't the greatest. I would say it's still a work in progress. But that's kind of what we're here for, to try to usher in as much of the integration as possible and make it a smooth user experience. And in terms of staging it out, of course, we want to get as many users as possible onboarded to the Aurora experience as possible, both from Near and from Ethereum. But the channels are still kind of being built, right? Starting with the initial token asset bridge, making that rock solid, and then going on a per app level to integrate, with the different projects.
So maybe this may be something that you don't want to reveal, but could we ask for, very kindly request some alpha leaks on maybe other Near native projects that you are in talks with, maybe something that we could look forward to? You already mentioned Stake Near with Metapool, maybe some other projects down the pipeline that could excite the community.
So it's a bit I guess the one alpha leak I could potentially provide is we are definitely you guys might have seen the Aurora token that was recently announced. So we're working closely with the Aurora team. So hopefully we'll try to have pools of Aurora tokens on Trisolaris, in addition to, of course, pools with Wrap Near, and then some of the other Near projects as well. So again, as I mentioned, we're very Near native. We want to be as close to the Near community as possible. So anything to help the community.
Nice.
That's what's up. And there's a great Near community. Okay, so maybe closing question, just to kind of leave with the audience. You guys are really taking the mission, as I understand it, Trisolaris, is to really do DeFi correctly in the Near ecosystem, but also in a way where people from Ethereum can easily participate and jump on board as well. What would you say to someone, just getting involved in crypto, someone from the outside who might, be coming from the NFT side of things, and they're like, I don't really know what this DeFi thing is about? If you could, talk a little bit about the how you see, the benefits of a product like this and how you see the future of DeFi as a whole, I think that'd be helpful for the newcomers to get a sense of, just how much there is in this ecosystem.
Yeah, definitely. So I think the biggest benefit in terms of building on Near and then also on Aurora is how much of a breeze the user experience is. I mean, you barely have to think about making a swap or doing an action on chain, because the fees and the transaction times are so negligible, and that alone is a huge difference from if you're onboarding onto Ethereum mainnet today. It's several $100s to do anything significant. So that's just a starting point. What this enables us to do is to build novel financial products that haven't been built before. DeFi of the past year and a half, 2 years has been mainly about speculation, about farms, about trading and speculating, right? And so there's a lot of different areas of financial exploration that can be done with a chain like Near, the kind of technical capabilities that it offers. So that's fundamentally different than what has ever been done on other chains or on Ethereum. So that alone is super exciting for us. But of course, we have to start with baby steps, or find out foundational elements like having a DEX up and running and functioning, and onboarding users as seamlessly as possible. So decided to start with that.
Nice. I think it really shows that the way that you guys characterize yourselves and Near really shows that Near and Aurora and Trisolaris are really great fit. Something that I really love about the Near ecosystem is that we have a lot of experimental projects because the Near chain is so young, and also because the environment and infrastructure allows for more experimental, more problem-solving approaches to a DeFi or NFTs or any kind of blockchain experience. And it seems like that's also the kind of road that you're taking with Trisolaris, and that is really nice to see as also an active community member of Near. Maybe to wrap things up, we could ask from the chat, is Trisolaris hiring in any field? How does anyone interested in Trisolaris get involved? How do they get in touch with you? And if they want to be part of the community, how can they be part of the Trisolaris community?
Yeah, great question. So we are, as I mentioned, currently we're a team of 3, actively building across all aspects of the stack, but we're definitely looking for more help in all areas. As you know, it's a growing ecosystem, and there's so much blue space for development and growth. In terms of folks we're actively looking for folks who can help grow the community. So as I mentioned before, we don't actually have a Telegram at the moment. We just have a Discord. So we do want folks who can help grow the community. And then secondly, we with the front end, that's another place we do need help with, because a lot of this work we've found is not necessarily on the contract side of things, or deploying contracts or things of that nature, but is actually integrating with the front end and making the user experience seamless with a new blockchain, with a new layer, EVM layer, right? That's actually really hard work people underestimate. So any help on that front as well, user experience, design, front end, would be super appreciated. And in terms of getting in touch, feel free to DM any one of the 3 of us. Myself, 0x Chain, or Babu Baya, we're all on our Discord. So feel free to reach out.
Perfect.
Awesome. Well, thank you for hopping on Rise and Grind. Thanks for all the work that you guys are doing, and hopefully we'll see you again on the show for future alpha leaks and developments of the Trisolaris DEX.
Thank you. Thanks for hosting us. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much.
Cool. So normally this is going to be the part of the show where there's like a beautiful transition screen and we transition into a sub show, but we're in beta mode right now. So we're just kind of getting a feel for how this process works. So actually the next sub show is going to be with Cronier, and this is going to be the Near Gaming sub show. So Mondays, it will be Near Gaming. Tuesdays, it will be the VC panel. Wednesdays, we have Working in Crypto. Thursdays, we have Near trading analysis and updates. And then Fridays, we have the In My Opinion segment. Normally, we'll have panelists of 3 to 4 people. This week, since there's a lot of travel, there's a lot of preparation for NearCon, we're keeping it small and we're just kind of getting a feel for it. So this week, Cronier is going to jump on with me. And he is going to basically give a kind of overview introduction to where gaming stands on Near. And then in the future episodes, we're going to start delving into what are the hottest games, what's the value, etc. So Rim, if you want to welcome Cronier, we'll take a 1-minute transition to get this show kicked off.
Welcome, Cronier, to the stage. How are you?
Hello, Rin. It's nice to be here. First off, congratulations for the new show. It's a privilege to be on the first show, actually.
We are also very privileged to have someone very well connected, so devoted to the near ecosystem, and someone who has a really good grasp of what's going on, and also have your hands in a lot of the different projects that are going on within the near ecosystem. So maybe we can start a little bit by introducing yourself. How would you characterize your role in the near ecosystem? Maybe a little bit about your story and your background for our first-time viewers.
Well, so right now we are going to discuss games. So I would take a character from a game and describe who I am. I don't know if you've seen Ready Player One, but I would, visualize myself as a player in that game and the arena being the whole near ecosystem with everyone involved, me kind of being involved with every project, every community member. I reach out to everyone and I try to see how we can get more engagement around not just the existing, but the up and coming projects as well.
Could you tell us a little bit about how you stumbled upon the near ecosystem, and what makes you stay, what makes you love it, and why gaming, right? Also,
Yeah, for sure. So I got started in late May or around, the last week of May, and it was Ozymandias who kickstarted the Degens program. That was kind of the launch pad for me. And then I went on to found my own guild and started getting more involved in the ecosystem, and then started working for other projects as well, not just for my guild. So it's kind of a very fascinating journey for me, kind of unbelievable as well. The transition that I've seen in the past 3 months, it's possible only in the near ecosystem that you rise through the ranks so easily without, bureaucracy trying to crush you down.
for sure. Well, before you guys move on to gaming on near, which I am very excited on, but I know nothing about gaming, so I'll just become a viewer from this point and see you guys on a different day.
Thank you for that, Rim. So yeah, just big takeaway: Rim is not a gamer. She's
Not a gamer girl.
she's a degen. She's a degen. She's not a gamer. Okay, so I mean, poof. Where in the world do we start with gaming? This sub show is actually going to be about looking at emerging games on Near. So we're going to be bringing on, the founders of these games. We're going to be live streaming gameplay we're going to have prizes for the audience to play along with live streaming gameplay in this sub show. But for this kind of first episode, you and I, Cronier, we've had some long talks about gaming in the Near ecosystem and everything you can do. So maybe if we want to just kick it off, how in the world does gaming fit into Web3? What kind of, as you see it, why would someone who's a builder or a game developer even consider using any of the kind of crypto stack of tools to kind of build and integrate their game onto a public blockchain?
Yep. So actually, if you remember, we were having this call last week, and after our call, I posted a tweet kind of trying to summarize how Web3 is different from Web2, where community members are essentially creators, not just consumers. So Web3 gaming, or whatever you do on Web3, enables the community to be a part of the process, not as the end users, but as builders. So traditionally, we have big studios like Rockstar Games or EA Games, and they feed us games. We get games from them, and we play those games. But on Web3, you essentially are a part of the process. Every community member who's on the DAO, who's on the beta testnet, everyone is part of the whole process that goes behind making a game. So from a developer standpoint, it gets them more, essentially, yeah. So basically, it's just marketing PR to begin with. But then when you dive deeper into it, Web3 enables developers to reach out to a broader talent pool as well. Instead of corporatized hiring and stuff, you get community members who are enthusiastic about something. Someone who's enthusiastic about streaming games, you get them to stream games for you. Someone who's enthusiastic about graphic design, you get those community members to do graphics for you. Someone who's enthusiastic about outreach and stuff, you get them to do PR for you. This is what Web3 enables. Everyone, literally, you don't have to be a developer to be a part of gaming on Web3. Everyone gets an opportunity to show their talent, and the game then builds an economy around itself. We've seen this from Axie, we've seen this from many games, Gods Unchained, that have launched on other chains before advent of gaming on Near. So we've seen
Yeah.
people literally buy houses from the income they generate from playing games. Like, if you were to compare that with traditional gaming on a gaming console, why would anyone spend some time playing games which they pay for instead of playing games which they are paid to use?
Yeah. No, that I think that you really hit the nail on the head. And I know that from the kind of traditional gaming space, there were a lot of really big, high profile games that had huge, gaming economies built into it, right? So,
Yep.
people would spend sizable amounts of money buying characters, they'd spend sizable amounts of money buying resources in a game. I think, from the initial outset of where we're looking, gaming is going to kind of get put on steroids when it enters crypto, because you're going to be able to basically bridge between the world of the game and the economy outside of the game to kind of the more on-chain economy. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that and kind of like what that looks like, Kronir?
Well, for sure. But to begin with, I would like to give you an overview of all the games that are up and coming in the Near ecosystem. So there's a host of games that are coming in the Near ecosystem, because if we don't talk about those games, it's kind of useless. So to begin with, we just had Shroom Kingdom. They set up the DAO for the Near community, and they had an airdrop. They're planning an airdrop for early supporters of the Near protocol, early community members. So this is a kind of a real life living example of what gaming enables the community members to do in Web3. Then we have, Pixel Pets. They just launched on the beta. They just launched the beta version on the Near mainnet. Then we had the JS13K decentralized gaming game jams, which was supported by Human Guild. So actually, if you are Near native or just someone starting to get started in the Near ecosystem, I would highly suggest checking out humanguild.io. It is a community-driven initiative of game enthusiasts. Basically, their goal is to get everyone who is interested in gaming and creative stuff get paid for the work they do. So Human Guild is kind of like the gaming accelerator on Near. They support a bunch of gaming projects from they're planning to launch their own game jams actually, and from Galaxy Online, Metaverse, everything. Metaverse just launched
Wait,
Metamorph
so
Hard
real
Rock.
quickly, Corona, real quickly here, if I can just cut in, how many games, in your estimate, are either launched or going to be launched in the Near ecosystem in the next 2 months? You'd say
Well, more than a dozen actually.
more than a dozen. Okay,
Yeah.
and basically each of these games will have their own economies kind of built into them, their own communities that will need help growing them, marketing them, adding to them. So if I'm hearing you correctly, it just sounds like there's a huge opportunity for all things gaming enthusiasts to kind of get started with in the Near ecosystem.
Yep, exactly. So every game will have their own dedicated communities, their dedicated teams, and their dedicated, fields, the niche that they will focus on. We have arcade games, tabletop games, then you have strategy and world building games as well. So I would really like to give a quick shout out to Vlad here. So Vlad is building this game called Near Lands. You can log into lands.near.page and basically create your whole world if you want to. This is the kind of stuff that's coming up on Near, and it's just the beginning.
Yeah, no. And so for a little bit of context, kind of we can go back to big picture, the nexus of gaming and crypto. I forget which podcast it was, but there was a venture capitalist who was talking in detail about how the next $1 trillion company, economy, ecosystem niche that you're going to find before 2030 is going to be found in gaming. And I think one of the reasons from that is because a lot of gamers looking to kind of access more revenue streams, looking to access community support, looking to build better, more inclusive, larger ecosystem spanning games, have now the tools and the kind of the not necessarily the community, but just the support in place to really kind of start quickly and get off the ground. We were talking yesterday or 2 days ago, Kronir, about launching our own game and how easy it was to just think up of a concept, think up of an idea, start talking about, okay, we could fork this, we could grab this, we could build this, and we could launch it. And if it sticks, if the community likes it, there's real world value that comes from that, and it scales and it grows and it becomes, a household name. Any thoughts on that process and kind of how you see gaming unfolding in the Near ecosystem going forward?
Well, for sure, not just the Near ecosystem, but the broader crypto space as well. And Near is going to play a pivotal role in it because, everyone's had a taste of what Ethereum sounds, what Ethereum feels like. Now they're moving to other, more efficient layer one protocols. And Near being one of the trailblazers in this field. So, yeah, I mean, gaming on Near will be huge. If you just look at it from an outsider standpoint, if you take a look at it from a broader sense, like esports and gaming, multiplayer online gaming, you're in Europe, I guess, and I'm in India. Gaming enables both of us to connect virtually. Traditionally we would go on to a soccer field, shake hands, and play a friendly match. But on online, if you play games, like, we are connected around the world with people around the world. Esports is taking off big time, and we literally have $40 billion pouring in every year into gaming. Why not? Like, if you just see the potential from it, not just from an insider in the Near ecosystem, but from the broader gamer community, which is not blockchain native as of yet, the potential is huge. It's all you need is to dip your feet dip your feet in the water and try to see where you fit in.
Yeah. So basically, starting not next week, because next week we're going to be doing NearCon interviews, and NearCon's going on. Starting the week after next week, we're going to be basically taking this sub show. There'll be a larger group of panelists that are going to jump on as well, and we're going to go in depth into different games in the Near ecosystem, play the games, talk about how they can grow, talk to the founders, and kind of just provide more coverage of what's possible at the intersection of crypto and gaming. Cronier, do you have any closing thoughts on, you mentioned Human Guild. I think there was also some, Ilya was involved in some gaming things as well. These gaming communities are just now starting to kind of sprout out. If I was interested in gaming and kind of not sure what the hell's going on in crypto, what would you recommend I do? Who should I talk to? Is there a form I can fill out? What would you recommend to kind of get familiarized with this space if I think it's the next big thing?
Well, yeah, if you're a Web3 native and you need to fill up a form to join a community, that beats the point of Web3. So we have a dedicated gaming community right now, a Near Gaming Guild, where you can participate as a community member, test out games, and get involved. It's called the Near Games Guild, and the Telegram chat for it is, I think, Near Gaming Chat. You can join that community just to begin with as a very layman. And talking about Ilya, actually, I saw a tweet from Ilya the other day. He said that he's enjoying playing Pixel Pets these days, and community members basically started challenging him to play with him. So this is the kind of stuff that you can see only on Web3. People from all walks of life getting involved in some activity, and all of them are on the same platform. So Ilya actually, just to give some context to the community, if you missed it, he hacked the smart contract for a game on a flight. Just see how insane that is. He hacked the smart contract for the Dragoneer game that he has, he envisioned it for years, and he hacked the smart contract for it on a flight and basically threw it open as a sandbox to the community to build upon. Like, this is the kind of stuff which excites, creativity, which inspires, innovation from the community, not just from traditional developers as well. And this is how supportive the Near team is, or the Near Foundation is. If you have some ideas, if you want to get involved in gaming, want to start your own project, just pitch your ideas to the Human Guild or the Near Foundation. They have grants in place. They have, bounties in place that you can build upon.
Great. No, this is a great kind of overview of what's available and where things stand. Thank you, Cronier. So as I said before, starting in 2 weeks, we're getting the gaming on. You can play with us on the stream. We're going to have some prizes. We're going to have some rewards for the games that are going on. You'll be able to jump on with us. We're going to have a segment where random people from the audience can call in, jump onto the show through the link, voice their opinion on what gaming, but also what's going on in this space. So thank you for that, Cronier. In these last 5 minutes, I'm just going to kind of do a little overview of the sponsors of Rise and Grind and where we're hoping to take this into the future. So Rise and Grind is a completely community-run initiative. We have a DAO started on actually, I don't know where Rim started the DAO. I think it's Astro. It's either Astro or Sputnik V2. There's an Astro DAO live that we accept donations from, and we're partnered with Move Capital, partnered with Ref Finance, partnered with some of the most important guilds in the ecosystem. It's a full-on community effort for promoting visibility of projects and people within the Near ecosystem. And it's going to be every day of the week after NearCon. So you guys will be able to tune in. We're going to be working with the growth hackers of the Near Foundation. So Ross, Jacob, a lot of those great people there to kind of drop some cool prizes and opportunities in. And then we're going to keep doing these like deep dive profiles to kind of give you guys firsthand access to alpha coming from the projects, to new founders, and to new ideas as well. So every single day, the goal is 2 p.m. Central European time. I know that's early for the US time, but that also fits in large parts of Asia, and we want this to be globally inclusive. We're going to bring VC analysts on from the Near ecosystem. So Move Capital VC, Open Web Collective, the recent fund that just launched out of Asia as well. They're going to be talking about what they look for in projects that they're trying to fund and kind of inject capital into. We're going to have a segment on working in crypto with some household names and also some newer people who are just getting familiar. So if you're interested in this space, interested in going deeper, interested in getting a job, that segment will be for you. And then we're also going to have some on price action, some on opinions, et cetera, et cetera. So our goal is to provide the community with all of the information and kind of hands-on access that you guys are looking for everything going on at Near. And we know it's a lot. We're going to pace ourselves. This isn't, we're not freaking out about this. This is supposed to be organic. It's supposed to be chill. If you guys want to get involved, if you want to call in, DM us on Twitter, DM us on Telegram, and join the Rise and Grind fam, because Near's building the open web, and we're all going to make it. So take care, everyone. We'll see you guys tomorrow, actually.